Hello everybody, Hangam here, and today we're going to talk about and learn how to make pizza in a masterful way. Our goal is for you to be the fastest pizza maker in town or the world, but for sure here at Matanga. So we're going to show you some tips and tricks that is going to help you do just that. Making pizza in itself is not that special. I can get my 5-year-old be like, hey Mark, here's a stack of pepperonis. You know, he can even do that, right? Anybody can top a pizza. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about being masterful at it, and that's going to require paying close attention to details. And it's not rocket science, and you can do it, and we want to help you get there. In this first section, we're going to talk about stretching dough. As you know, we have 4 sizes of pizza. We have 10-inch, we have 12, 16, and 20-inch. What you need to know is that the technique is the same. The technique that we're going to stretch a 10-inch to start off with, you need to master the technique, then you master the speed once you master the technique first. And that's the same technique that is going to help you do it great at stretching a 10-inch is the same that you're going to apply to a 20-inch. It's not that different, and I'm going to show you how it is. First step is scraping and removing the dough ball. So here's what we do. We're gonna use something that's called a scraper. We're gonna scrape it so we can get every piece. You see what I'm doing? This hand, it goes and grabs. I'm gonna cut that dough. I'm gonna tuck it in. So that's our dough. We want to make sure there is not much here. If you do wash dishes later, you'll know that these things will get dried up. So you scraping good is going to help with that phase. Step number 2 is laying the dough on the flour. We do 1, 2, you can just press it down. And the reason I'm doing that, because eventually we're going to go from that size of the dough, we're going to go to 10 inches. So every little bit counts as we're going to get this dough bigger. So we go flip and then we press it down just a little bit. We're going to lay this up here. What matters, that is very important, is that you keep this piece of dough always in a circle shape. If it turns into a rectangle or a square, it's going to be really hard for you to get back into the circle zone. So step number 3 is we're going to use our fingers. Very simple. This side of our fingers, we're not doing this, we're doing this. I'm going to show you how we do it. And you can flip it. This just makes it a little bit bigger. I can even do this. Right? That already got us, look how big it got, and it's not even much. Do you see that? So this will help it out a little bit, loosen the dough, because it's been sitting in the fridge all so tightly for 2 days. So it was sleep, so we're kind of waking it up. So just like this. And we want to make sure we get everywhere, kind of a thing. So that was our step number 3. There are many ways to stretch dough. Once we got to this phase, our step number 4, you can use a rolling pin if you want, or you could simply use your hand. So what is going to be easiest and fastest and ultimately get the right product at the end is what matters. I'm going to show you how simple it is you doing it with your hand. That is a great skill for you to have, that forever you can impress other people. You know how to work the dough with your hand, and it is very simple. If it takes you a little bit to get there, you are welcome to use the rolling pin, and that's just fine. But in this phase, I'm going to show you how we're going to use just our hand to stretch this dough. Once you stretch dough a bunch, you can kind of visually tell, but I can see that it's almost right there, and I didn't even do much really. So in this phase with my hand, one of the things that matters is to make sure you have enough flour, but not too much, but you know what I mean, enough that this dough does this kind of thing, so it's kind of smooth to go around. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use my hand like this. This is the angle. Lord knows what degree it is, maybe 60 degrees. So I'm going to go like this, and my focus is going to be the edges. I'm never going to be doing it this way, because if I do this, this is going to get thinner, this is going to get thicker. So that's not what we do. We are just focusing on the edges. And this is the movement I'm going to do. You can view it as though it's like a steering wheel and you're at a 10 and a 2 o'clock going this way, or you have a bit cylindrical thing in here that you're trying to unscrew or something. It's kind of as this motion, and we just gradually go out. I'm going to show you on the dough how it looks. Very simple. This dough is already getting big. Step number 5 is that we're going to pick this dough up on our hand and give it a little bit of a few motions. There are many reasons for that. One is if we wanted to make this dough bigger, which for a 16 or a 20 inch, you kind of need to do that. But another very important detail is all of this flour that is on both sides. If I were to simply lay this up, it's going to be very, very floury. Okay? So that's one of the reasons that we do the hand motion. And the way to do that is, imagine this is a sheet and you're working with this side of your hand a lot. I'm going to just pick it up. So me doing just this, look at the flour falling. Do you see all the flour falling? And this dough has gotten really big. And you're like, oh no, how are we going to lay it? So this is going to be simple. The dough is going to shrink in just a second. Step number 6, and our last step, is laying this thing down. So we're going to go up, lay it down like that. There are many ways to shrink back this dough. One is this, like if you just kind of pick it up a little bit, it'll come back in like that. So let's do one more so I can show you better. The other way is this motion. You want to make sure that it's on it, just like that.